this is Thennary with another episode thoughts, this time for Sailor Moon Crystal, and its 8th episode. And this one's got me pretty excited. I mean, it's pretty much stuck rather closely to the manga chapter, except for like some minor variations, which, you know, kind of puts Sailor Venus up front a little bit more, which of course I love because Sailor Venus is my fave, so I love, you know, seeing more of her, of course. But yeah, basically the episode, it has Sailor Venus finally formally meeting up with the rest of the Sailor Guardians, and having to announce that she is Princess Serenity, the one that's, you know, they're all looking for. And of course, with this, we have Zoisai pretty much kind of step out as being, I guess, one of the four kings that are going up against the Sailor Guardians, and we have like Kunzite coming in. And let's see, going back on track, we do have, of course, with the introduction of Sailor Venus, and she's able to finally kind of explain what's going on, because one thing about her is that she's been pretty much active for, I believe it's about a year before, you know, they became Sailor Guardians, and of course as Sailor V back then, but she now has all her memories, you know, awoken, and she kind of knows the whole story, unlike everyone else who's still in the dark, as no one's really had their full memories returned. They've had little flashes, and in this episode we definitely see Usagi. She's having dreams that are kind of giving her memories back. Of course, she doesn't realize what they are. I guess probably one of the big differences from the manga in this episode is pretty much Sailor Venus herself, in that the fact that in the manga she just kind of seamlessly joins the group, but in this we do have more of her kind of taking this kind of lone wolf approach to being a Sailor Guardian and her mission. And it's not something completely new, because in the live action version of Sailor Moon, that was basically a good portion of what her character was the fact that she wasn't with the group. She was, you know, separate from them, and pretty much kind of taking a lot of the burden of being a Sailor Guardian on herself, especially having to pretend that, you know, she's the princess. So we definitely, you know, see that a little bit in this new anime series, which I actually kind of rather like, because, you know, it just kind of gives the character a little bit more, I guess, dimension, and also the fact that it does allow, you know, Usagi to pretty much do what she's done with everyone, or so far, which is kind of go ahead and let her know that, you know, you don't have to do this alone, that we're definitely by your side no matter what, and just kind of make that connection. So pretty much everyone has that kind of connection with Usagi, which, you know, is kind of like pretty much like the big part of why Usagi, you know, is the leader, is the fact that she is someone who can so easily and so quickly make such a large difference in the lives of others. One thing that was omitted, though, from the manga is the fact that Usagi, when they have their first conversation with Sailor Venus, she goes ahead and, you know, transforms back to Aino Minako. And when she does that, she mentions that, you know, this is just like her temporary form kind of deal. And Usagi does kind of start worrying about that in the manga in this chapter, which isn't shown up in the anime, though it might be one of those things where they may shuffle it to like another episode, or they just may not touch that, and because it gets brought up later, and they just may like stick it all with that later time. Let's see. Other than that, like I said, this one pretty much sticks a lot with the manga, except for that little added focus on Sailor Venus. Of course, to add to that, she actually ends up fighting Kunzite on her own. And, we do get another hint that she definitely remembers everything from her past life, as in the fact that she definitely knows who Kunzite is. And, she knows that the way he's acting is definitely not the way he should be, because she knows who he really is. Of course, with that, we definitely know that none of the four kings remember their past lives so much, even though we've gotten some that seem to basically recognize the little things here and there. But we don't really get that from Kunzite. It's just basically Minako being able to remember everything, and I think she and Artemis are basically the only ones that do. Though we do get a scene earlier with him talking to Luna and telling her that she's had some memories sealed away, and telling her that it's finally time to remember everything. But of course, even with that, with the next episode, pretty much everyone's memories should be awoken. So that's something I'm really looking forward to, because I kind of loved that part of both the anime and the manga. So I'm excited to finally be hitting that, even though we have to wait till next month. But it's technically only 2 weeks, so that's nice. But still, I really want to get to that. I think now that we're getting to, I guess, the real meat of the story of this first arc, I just really, really wish that it was every week and not every other week, or not technically every other week, but every first and third Saturday. Back to the episode. It also has one of my favorite scenes between Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Mask, and it's of course during the battle versus Kunzite, where Tuxedo Mask, he shows up to catch a falling Sailor Moon, and pretty much Sailor Moon, she finally kind of really takes a lot of the initiative, I guess, with the relationship, in that, she's the one to hug him. And then she kind of pulls back and tells him, you should probably get out of here. I'll be able to protect you. And, then gives him a kiss. And I really like that because, she definitely has, or it's finally seeing Sailor Moon kind of take the initiative in the relationship. And it's probably the first kiss that they've had where, she's been awake. Which, it's definitely a big plus, seeing, the other 2 kisses where Tuxedo Mask has kissed her while she's been unconscious have been kind of, I guess, a bit questionable. I mean, it works out, sort of, but it's not something that, I don't know, is all that comfortable to watch, seeing that, she really didn't have any say in it. So I think that's what kind of makes this one so special, is the fact she definitely does. And not only that, but, she's the one taking the initiative for it. And, to her, that basically very well could be their first kiss, because it's not like she was really awake for the others. Let's see. Oh, no, of course, we end the episode how the manga chapter ends, and that's with Tuxedo Mask not really listening so much to Sailor Moon, as he feels really guilty about not being able to protect her in the end with that battle with Zoisite. And so he goes ahead and decides he's going to protect her this time with the battle with Kunzite, and he takes a blast, which, Kunzite being pretty much the top of the Four Kings, he's pretty strong. And so Tuxedo Mask ends up not being in very good condition at the end of this, as that's basically where the episode ends. And we have to wait till the next episode for the inevitable. I was actually rather not surprised that when we got the promo for the next episode, is that it looks like it all came from like the very first scene of the following episode, that they weren't going to show anything beyond that, which is no surprise because everything beyond that basically is a massive spoiler, even though it kind of got spoiled in the preview anyway with, you know, Sailor Moon actually being the princess. Which I guess I think most people at this point probably know this, even if you haven't actually, you know, read the original manga or watched the original series, or actually are just completely new to it. I think everyone can pretty much have guessed who the real Princess Serenity is, especially since in this episode with those little dreams where not only Usagi but also Mamoru both have, you know, dreams of their lives back in this Moon Kingdom, and we very clearly see who they are. The fact that the princess in Mamoru's dream is very clearly Usagi, so it's kind of a spoiler but not a spoiler, because I think most people should have figured that one out, or at least figured out that there was definitely something off with, you know, Sailor Venus being the princess. Oh, I guess there is one other omission from this episode that was in the manga, which pretty much was a no-brainer, and that's the fact when Kunzite goes ahead and steps up. In the manga, he's looking at, you know, the dead bodies of the other four kings, while in the anime, of course, it's not there because they're very much alive. And I'm really interested in figuring out where exactly that's going to go, especially since with this episode, we know Minako knows exactly who everyone is, and the fact that, you know, she was kind of distressed with the fact that, you know, Kunzite was there as an enemy, because she knows that that's not who he really is. So I have a feeling once we get past, I guess, this episode, we may actually get a bit of a shift of focus and start getting into more of what is bound to be kind of the original, or some original stories in this series, where we're going to focus on maybe not so much the Four Kings, but basically, no, we kind of have to, because we have to figure out, or they have to figure out, you know, what's going to happen with them, because it's definitely not the same fate as they had in the manga, as they're all very much alive. They weren't killed off by the Sailor Guardians like they were originally. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And I really can't believe we're already on the 8th episode. For some reason it feels like we should be a long farther, which probably is just because, you know, it is all kind of getting drawn out. But at the same time, it doesn't really feel like we've covered much either, I guess, but that's mainly probably because of the pacing of the original manga itself. It was very quick, and of course, since they've been sticking so close to it, it's probably no surprise that, you know, this anime series seems to have that really quick pacing that almost at times seems a bit rushed. But, you know, I have a feeling that this is not the last time we're going to get Sailor Moon in anime form. I mean, with the fact that it's been revived, it's one of these series that I think is going to, like, stick around for many generations, more to come. And I really look forward to what everything brings. So I'm so far enjoying Crystal, even though this was another episode that had a lot of, you know, quality animation. I don't think it's quite as bad as the second episode, but it was pretty off model a good portion of the time, but of course by now everyone should have realized or known that the home video release version of the series is going to get a lot of touch-up, so a lot of the iffy animation should be fixed, which is pretty much the norm for anime these days, is that they rush to get the episodes out on time, and then when it comes out on home video, they've had a team go through and pretty much fix a lot of most of the issues, or at least most of the major issues with the animation. And I think I've gone ahead and rambled on long enough. I seem to be doing a lot of that in these videos these days. But that all said, thank you for watching. I hope you subscribe to my channel, leave a like or a comment, and until next time, bye.